me here.
And please, yes, I'll need you to. Global supply chain are essential. Reducing them could hurt economic innovation, and global cooperation. Can you take that and then we can switch it? I know you very strong in that area. You're a politician. No, you said no. I know. I'm not gonna go. You're not gonna go against your belief. Okay. Okay. Every say he's gonna try. Bev is your businessman, so look at it in that perspective. Why you want us to join Connect? All right. The first question. Let's start with the people side. Are global change smart economy strategy or a hidden national security risking waiting to collapse?
Um,
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Um,
Imbotu is not available right now, but he's gonna come around, so it's okay for Dream to go first.
okay.
Mandy, come. Hold on, Dream. Mandy, come. Please come be a get out. Come before side B. Why is let me see he's gonna refuse to be for side B. Let me see. There's somebody down that could help me for that side B again to make keep side B strong since Predin's not. Let me see. Kenzie, accept my invitation and come. Come be for side B, please. Yeah, what's side B again? Side B is global supply chains are essential. Reducing them could hurt economy, innovation, and global cooperation. Yeah, it's an exercise. They know we do this all the time. Come on, so that you can get so you can get a little balance somewhere. So that I mean, side 4B can stay where he is, and then it will just be fine. Mhm. I'm sending you the invite. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. So now, Mr. Phoebe, mute. Okay. All right. Thank you. I would like for you to talk before your network start acting anyway. After Mr. Knight, anyways. Did I get here? Yeah, you're here. How did I get here? Because you accepted the invite. So it looked like you didn't music type where music type where you wanted to do. I can switch something around. I can switch pretty. Music, tell me if you're coming for side B. Type on the comment section. I could switch pretty. Pretty. Okay. Okay. You know? Okay. So now the first question. Are global change smart economy strategy or a hidden national security risking waiting it's hidden national security risk waiting to collapse? We're gonna go with you, Mr. John. 5 minutes.
I think that the idea of the global supply chains, we have to first of all understand how the supply chains work for us to even talk about the supply chains per se. So there's the idea of the raw materials going through the supply chain. Supply chains would be the processing. So raw materials processed, finished product supplied to the consumers. If we're looking at that from the point of globalization, we would say clearly that Africa was messed up. Globalization didn't work out for Africa in the end. It never worked out for Africa. Even if the raw materials came from Africa, right? And they were taken to these foreign countries. I can tell you right now that we all know here, those of us who are Africans in this panel, that the quality of genes that will come to your country is different from the quality of genes that goes to the Western civilization. Quality of products is different. In fact, we now want to go and buy products in Western civilization and bring them into our country. However, I think that the main problem now is of which we are seeing it now emerging is the idea of that your national security is closely tied to your economy, closely tied to how far globalization worked for you. So therefore, is the strongest that survive. So you'd be your economy should be good enough that your military should be able to stand the test of time for you to be able to acquire assets or resources. We're back to the time of acquiring assets and resources. We can see that with what Trump did, just goes and seizes a country and takes their oil. And they're now going after Iran to seize Iran and see if they could take control of the oil there too. So, but here's the thing that is more horrible. In the end of the story, yes, it is a problem to national security when you consider that other countries become stronger than your country using the global supply chain. Case in point, and I'll give you a classical example. What happened to Ghana? The chocolate cartel, trillions of dollars being made in Belgium, trillions of dollars being made around the world from Ghana's cocoa. Meanwhile, the Ghanaian cocoa farmer is the poorest in the world. I think they make, is it $1.29? $1.29 a day is what they make as farmers. The global supply chain or the so-called chocolate cartel now made Belgium. Belgium truly actually survives on chocolate to the point that it's the one place in the world where the university has courses like chocolate engineering. And then Ghana, that should have been the place that is making trillions of dollars from chocolate, courtesy of the global supply chain, they don't make any money from chocolate as such. Rather, other countries get money from this and strengthen their military and strengthen their systems, and Ghana remains there weak, right? And we've seen this working across like the idea of cobalt, the idea of, look at Congo, global supply chain, uranium. One of the very few places in the world that you have uranium, the only place if care is not taken, yellow cake uranium, right? I don't see it working well. I think if you were the one that hold uranium and everybody's making nuclear weapons, then Congo shouldn't have been a place that should be thinking about money as such. But they're not really a very thriving economy. So for me, I think that the global supply chain or the idea of, because behind global supply chain, like Annie Quinn is talking about, is the idea of globalization. Globalization ended up being a scam for Africa. It didn't work out for Africa, in my opinion. Globalization worked out for the United States as a consumer. It worked out for Europe as consumers of finished goods, processed goods. It worked out for the processors like China, those who are actually processing these goods or creating manufactured goods, Europe, China, Asia. But Africa, it never worked out. Africa just became the place where you pick the raw resources and take it away. South Africa, diamonds, precious stones, and I don't know how many Africans are wearing pure diamonds on their fingers, I mean, it's over here, you walk into a mall and pick up a diamond. So I think that when we look at the global supply chains, it didn't work out in the end for Africa. It didn't do Africa any good, even though we know that all the resources come from Africa, right? It didn't do Africa any good. And I think that it's about time Africans would have to figure out how to corner these resources. Unfortunately, I don't even think Africans can corner these resources anymore because these resources are defended militarily. They're defended by military might at this point. So if you try to corner it, the fourth estate will be employed on you. The government comes for you. The media will come for you. And then a case will be made to get rid of you. So like what happened to Gaddafi, right? So cases will be made to get rid of you. So I think that in the end of the story, it didn't work out well. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like now the same question goes to Global. Global Lula, is that you're the one that wanted to talk first. Question number one for you. And then defend your response regarding how you want global change. A global change smart economy strategy or hidden national security risk waiting to collapse? I hope you never fall asleep.
Do you see I should defend what Jim Knight said? Is it Jim Knight?
Yeah, you're saying you're defending your stance on why the global supply chain are essential.
Yeah, like Jim Knight said, firstly, I want us to understand that reducing global reliance on supply chains can equally go a long way to expand national resilience. There are so many benefits. For example, I just want to go with what he said, he spoke about in Africa, but let's look at China. It enhanced energy security. Countries like China, for example, we know that China has a large bulk of energy and it produces a lot of product inventories, which helps them to cope with disruptions. That's one thing we need to know. For example, for instance, China's emergency reserves are estimated in a huge, diameter whereby it can be used in the long run. I know that there are some countries in Africa that lack this China's emergency reserves, but China is one of the countries in Africa whereby, believe me, they have secured a lot of energy. And even apart from that, when you look at it this way, it increased national autonomy. You spoke about soft drinks and all those stuff. Believe me, reducing dependence on global supply chains can go a long way to give a nation more control over their resources, over their economic destiny. Now let's go to Cameroon. If Cameroon keep importing things from other countries, we have Brazzaville, we have is it Planet? We have Coke. How much do you buy Coke? How much do you buy Sprite? How much do you buy Fanta? What is the cost price of all those imported products as compared to the mere Planet? So at the end of the day, it increased national autonomy. Africans, individuals need to control their country. They need to control what comes in and what goes out. If not, competition will result to a lot of problems, and you realize that those countries will not be able to manage their goods anymore. Like he spoke of uranium and other stuff in those countries, they cannot manage their product because they lack autonomy. Once you lack autonomy, outsiders, foreigners will come and take that and they're gonna utilize it and you pay for it. So at the end of the day, once there's an increase in national autonomy,
You're working against your own side. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought that I'm talking about the benefit of reducing global reliance, the advantages. He spoke of the disadvantages.
You're talking, yes, you're talking about the benefit of global reliance. That's what
Yeah.
you did. Yeah, the benefit of global reliance.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to use some of the points he mentioned. He was talking
Oh,
about
okay. You bring it up. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, I'm just using the point against him. Yeah,
Okay,
because he
go
mentioned
ahead.
some of this stuff. Yeah. So so that is it. It increased national autonomy, reducing dependence on global supply chain can go a long way to help a nation to control their resources, to control their destiny. Most African countries cannot control their destiny. They cannot control their resources because of what? Increase in national autonomy. Believe me, look at our country, for example, Cameroon. If we have full access to our commodities, to our product, to our resources, we don't need any international intervention. Look at, how do they call that company? Was it CDC Banana? It has been sold to De Monte. Just imagine that there was increase in national autonomy. We don't need an outsider to intervene. Now, at the end of the day, the good produce will be exported and it comes. It goes for PAMO. You understand? So in essence, what am I saying? Supply chain is good because it gives clarity to the nation. They understand what to do, what not to do, what to import and what to export, and what to protect. I came to realize that, for example, back in our country, there's a restriction of this oil. Is it sunflower oil that leaves the US and other countries? Because we are trying to produce more of our own product and we are trying to make sure that, or should I say the economy, she is trying to make sure that home produce are consumed more by the inverse to reduce international consumption. The same things go again with milk. They are trying to stop importation of milk too from Nigeria. Because they are trying to encourage autonomy, dependency on homemade product. So these things are good. To me, it is advantageous because money stays within, money doesn't go out. And if competition becomes stiff, you realize that homemade product will be neglected in favor of what? International product. The economy is gonna crumble. So that's just what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, and I get a mix on that, but thank you so much. This one has a second question. Yes. This one has a second. Now, it was a second question. And the second question we'll start with Mr. Ifobi. If every country start prioritizing local production, does does that strengthen independence or trigger global economy isolation?
Thank you very much.
That's free food I gave you.
Yes, one thing before I start, I just want to make sure that I want to make a point, a general point first. Just when we are talking about global economy, manufacturing, and supply
You don't laugh.
chains,
You should say don't laugh. That
understand that we should understand that
global, you don't laugh,
there are
no.
two factors that come to play. There is the issue of comparative cost advantage, and there's the issue of absolute cost advantage. That is, one country might have find it might be cheaper to produce certain products in certain countries than in other countries, and there are some countries that exist that can only be that only them can produce certain products, or they cannot even be compared in the production of certain products with other countries. Now, the second side of what I want to say is global. When we are looking at this thing, it benefits just the capitalist. It doesn't benefit the common man, because most of the times when we take this production offshore, when we buy offshore or we take production offshore, when we take into consideration transportation and import tariffs or duties, the prices at which these products get to the common man is almost the same as if these products were produced at home. Now, what is the difference? The difference here is the capitalists, those who have capital, those who have invested, are the ones having a fatter profit margin. They make bigger margins. That's why they will convince us that it's cheaper and they take it out. But when you do the math, you realize that at the end of the day, they are the ones making the gain. They are the ones benefiting from the global economy, not the common man. Now, I will go dive now into the question. I just want to say countries should be able to produce and consume their own goods. One, for national security. When you are able to produce and consume, if you can, or consume, or at least consume what you produce, you secure your market. You stabilize your internal market. You give room for innovation, and you stabilize your balance of payment, and therefore your currency becomes stronger, and you might end up creating a comparative or an absolute cost advantage in the market, thereby reducing your zeroing in from a consumer to a producer, from a net consumer to a net producer. And I strongly believe that the global economy is modern slavery. It's more or less modern slavery because it is being used as a tool to manipulate economies, to kill economies, to choke people up. Let's take it from this angle. Somebody just spoke about cocoa. If Africans were consuming cocoa, we had chocolate factories, we were using cocoa to produce other products that are necessities that we were consuming ourselves, then our cocoa prices will not be falling. They will not be manipulated in the world market to deal with us. Secondly, I think in as much as a country might not produce a product, they might have a substitute for it. As a Mbayangi man, before the white man came with rice, my people eat Nogotan chot on Monday, eat Eru, Ebine Eru on Tuesday, they eat okra soup on Wednesday, they eat bichi on Thursday, they eat what you call Bayangi bitter leaf, they will eat koki, they will eat porridge plantain, they will eat kubeto on Sunday. There was no rice, there was no spaghetti, there was no bread. You understand? It's when these people came with these things and they substituted it. And if you look at it critically, we Africans dive into some of these things. I'm just using a basic commodity. We dive into these things because the white man was eating from it and wanted to be like the white man. Not actually because they are cheaper, they were cheaper or they had a higher calorie. No, just because we wanted to copy. Fine, the noodles and everything, we can still produce them with our sweet potatoes, our plantains. So there is a substitute for it. It's just sheer economic warfare that has kept us glued to some of these products, which we do not grow, we do not control the supply. Whatever price they give us, we have to take. And since they have manipulated our currencies, they are down, we tend to buy them very expensive. So I strongly believe that we should produce what we can consume and consume what we produce. For any economy to go up, or for us to have any stable economy or have a stable national security, or for our national security interests, we need to learn how to first of all produce and consume before we look outward. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. So don't you think your strength in your independence and economy independence, trying to produce your local independence will not trigger any economic isolation?
I don't think so. I
Given
don't
that the world is global?
I don't think so. What I'm looking at is I don't talk in absolute terms. I'm not talking in absolute terms because I believe no matter how big your hand is, how big your palms are, they cannot cover the sky. You understand? There's a Chinese proverb that says so. Does no matter how big your palms are, they can't cover the sky. Meaning, no matter how much you produce, you can't produce everything. There are still some areas where you will need to benefit from the global economy. You will need to tap into the global economy because you might not, reasons, for example, you might not have acquired sufficiently the technology to go solo.
Okay. I wanted to hear your
Yes,
take on that.
you might not have the capital to go solo. So you will need, in one way or the other, tap into the global economy, maybe by accepting direct foreign investment or by importing certain products or importing technology. You understand? Or having some form of cultural exchange. I don't think it will lead to isolation. I don't really look at it. There's no it leads to isolation, but rather for me, I think that one is acceptable rather than relying on the global economy, because when you walk into somebody's house, no matter how tall you are, you have to put your head down. So if you are relying on somebody for a product, the person's got you. It's just like we say in the village, "Sese fly on the scrotum." You can't beat it off and you can't deal with it.
Thank you.
Let
All
me
right.
ask something to something you just said, like this issue of we are isolating. It is true. Let us first of all
Is
isolate.
that
Let it
your
be our base.
don't calm down, Papa? Is that your submission? Because you're the one that's
No, no,
next,
no,
and
no.
asking you the same
Okay, if it
question.
is next, okay. If I'm the
You
one, then let me submit.
you
Okay,
yeah. Hold on. Let me let you submit. I'm asking you the same question, and then
okay.
you this time, but you remember now. You are the one that is the global. You want global supply chain
Yes,
essential.
yes.
You want that to continue because reducing them, it will hurt the economy, innovation, and the global cooperation. So you don't want
Yes.
that to happen. You're
Okay.
for it. Okay, but let me hear from Mohammed. Mohammed is the one that just got here. Hey, Mohammed, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Thank you for joining. So we're splitting the panels into two, and the main topic is should nations reduce reliance on global supply chains to strengthen national resilience? Now, we split the panels into two. I want to see where you belong. And I wish you can take the side B because Elvis is for side A. Side A here on the bottom has nation must reduce reliance and build local capacity for survival and sovereignty. Side B, on the other hand, is global supply chain are essential. Reducing them could hurt economy innovation and global cooperation. Would you want to be on? You comfortable be on that side?
I'll be comfortable. No problem.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's go. Don Loco, you can come on, bro.
So,
So the question to you is the same question I just asked Mr. FOB.
okay.
If every country start prioritizing local production, does does that strengthen the independence or trigger a global economic isolation?
I think it will strengthen independence. Is that where I am? Am I in the right position?
You are you remember now you're supposed to be supporting global.
Yes, no.
You,
In
you
as
used
much
to
as
use
we are,
that question to your advantage.
yes, yes, global is good, but at, when it comes to this one, there's something I would really want to come in first because in as much as we are supporting global,
My people. Go ahead.
no, in as much as we are supporting globalization, there's some
Why not support your point, and then when I'm giving you the opportunity to do a summary for everybody here gonna give a summary of the topic, so then they don't have a side. For now, pick
okay.
your side. Stay on your side, and then when it comes to the summary, you tell us what you think after exchanging information with the other person.
And you could do one way put me for inside so when I'm 50-50 you worry, eh?
There's no
Am I
wrong
right?
one. At the end of the day, everybody in this panelist will tell us what they think, irrespective of
Okay.
where they stand.
No, but I support globalization because if we don't go global, it's going to be difficult for us. Why? We need to connect with other people. You alone, you cannot do it. Now, we have gotten to a point that even if we want to be on our own, what can we produce? We tap from other areas. Forget this thing we are talking, oh, Cameroon is Africa in miniature. Those are jokes, oh. The miniature, they were not, it mean, now only within all the fee and the bonus and everything. Now, let us look now in the world of tech. What can we get? Because this is what is champion. There are 4 industries in the world now that we need: power, pharmacy, food, and the tech. Look, all of them. We might have one, but the other ones. So we must encourage on this thing. We can even exchange with the global world so that we can be able to compete. Because if we cannot compete, then I am sure we are going nowhere. We have been trying this on our own. What is happening? There's no way. So let us try to encourage other people. I will not encourage that we should sell, but I think we need to start exchanging some knowledge, like what we see happen in Burkina Faso. We saw Ibrahim Traore sending children to Russia to go and learn stuff like that. I think this is where we need to come in. Believe me. So I support globalization for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You still got a lot of time. All right, I appreciate that. Now we're going to no flavor.
Yes, Mama.
Okay, the question for you is on this debate: should critical sectors like healthcare, food, and energy? I saved that for you because you're doing food. Should critical sectors like healthcare, food, and energy always be domestically controlled no matter the cost? I feel like that's a strong area because you're a businesswoman in food.
Yeah. To me, 100%. 100%. I mean, honestly, believe it or not, food has a very very pertinent role to play. Even if in politics or whatever, it's like it holds it's like the main thing in the economy. Because trust me, with an empty stomach, you can't even think straight, right? But if you can grab that domain, if you have the power in that domain, then you can definitely control anything else. Because even if, for example, we're talking about like foreign aid, all these pre-packaged food, all those things. When they come in with clauses. They don't just give it to you like here. No, it comes with, there is some fine print behind it, right? But if we can make our own, consume our own, that we don't need no help, we are good. We are not like plight. We are not in a plight. We are hardworking. We can resort. We can walk our own. We can have our own. We can grow our own. We can eat our own. That's the main thing from what you work. So take for example all these bananas, all these things that they export. 3/4 of the stuff we produce, we don't even consume them. Foreigners benefit more of what we produce than the farmer itself. People will work and have the best things, but it goes to the market instead of them consuming it. So why would a foreigner eat the best and then you eat crumbs? If you can, food holds a very big sector, and if you can handle your economy through food, then I don't think everybody will be rushing behind you. You will have your autonomy. You will have the power to do whatever you want to do. Because guess what? That's where the income is going to come from. Through the income, you can get the power. People will be rushing you now. You rushing them because they need the food. That is what it's like a life support for the whole world, right? Even energy comes. You can stay without no light. You can stay, but you cannot stay without food. There is no way you can survive without food. So what else can happen? In fact, anything else can come at the back. But food, that's the most important thing. So if you can have a stronghold of that, if you can be the masterminder, if you can be like, okay, you have all your food, everybody will be rushing behind you. Because guess what? There is nobody that will think straight with a hungry stomach. And that's going to be a source of income. That's going to be a source of employment. That will give you power. That will give you whatever you need. It's going to be like before you even come, they open the door for you. You don't even need to knock. People will open say, oh, here, do you want this? Oh, here, they'll be the one offering, not you running after people. But since our own economy is the one that is like the main thing they're supposed to focus on, they shove it down and then they take hand me overs, they take leftovers. In which, if we had invested in farming, invested in because listen, the whole Cameroon fits Central Africa, West Africa. It fits like most talk about globally, even plantain, banana. Most of the things are exported. Cameroon fits like main is like the main part, main food from the whole of Africa, most of the areas. And if you look at it, we have the highest food production. But do we eat what we consume? We eat like 1/4 of what we consume. The best goes to, you know what I mean, right? So if they are scrambling for what we are doing, we don't have the ability to even eat the best. So you work and then somebody is eating it. If they are coming for it, then they know the value of it. So I think through that one, if you can have a hold on your food, if you can control everything else. It's going to give you power. It's going to give you, people will sign documents without even looking. Because guess what? If somebody is hungry, give them any document they will sign without even looking whether their name was spelled right or wrong. So food is like the biggest one. And I mean, it's so bad that it hurts really, really bad because we have the power to do that, to handle that sector, but it's the most neglected. In which that would have been like a gold mine in our society. if they could have paid just a little attention to that sector, I don't think things would be that bad. Okay, for example, since the outbreak of this crisis in Cameroon, right? You see how much food, you see how things have become so bad, because guess what? People don't farm. People were rushed out of the village. Most of the farmers left the villages. So just imagine the crisis that is happening now is as a result of people not farming. Back in the day, all these things started because people could not go to the farm, right? If back in the day, no matter what was happening, people had food to eat. That's why nobody cared. But the moment food was tampered with, guess what? Everybody went to the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the honest reality. And if we can handle that, then I think things will be better. Even an FYI for purpose, for whatever sake, we are just learning.
Mm-hmm.
Food industry, that's the most lucrative you can ever imagine. That is the most lucrative, whether it's business wise, whether you want to invest, that's the most. Because guess what? During the COVID, food was the only business that survived. Even if no matter how bad it is, you look for something to eat, right? So that tells you everything else was shut down. Food never was. Food was the highest thing that they instead encouraged people through subsidies, through whatever they could, because that was the only thing that held people strong. So that's to tell you, whoever, to me, is, if you're looking into a business that can stand the test of time, the food industry will 24/7, 360 degrees, no doubt about it. Thank you.
And thank you. And to echo her point into the food and
Yeah,
and
I have to
and
about what she just said. She was saying something that when most of those foreign goods come, those aid, they have a clause. But I think if we were buying, they are not supposed to have. They are not supposed to come with any clause, except
right,
it's only for aid. Then we don't need to be going in for aid. We have to be buying it with our money.
right. That's correct. And I think she was emphasizing that point to say at least a country should be able to control this sector on their own, the food and their hair care. Because she quote COVID. See what happened in COVID. Uber was born and all the other places. Uber Eats, was
You have to prepare
was
yourself for because the next one is coming.
we ain't gonna do that. So,
Huh?
but anyway, Umbutu, you're welcome. So we have you for the sites that I don't know, Umbutu. I
Yes,
want you to
yes.
follow the conversation. So you are down here, and I assume based on your previous submissions that you will pick the side that say nation must reduce reliance and build local capacity for survival and sovereignty. You support, right? Is that good with you, or I just assume, sir?
Yeah, it's okay. By the virtue of the fact that I am Ubuntu, anywhere you place me, I'll pick it up. It's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, moving on with that. Madam Mandy, the same question. The question number 3 goes to you.
Yes.
Should critical sectors like healthcare, food, and energy always be domestically controlled, no matter the cost?
And I'm side B for global supply chain, right?
For the supply chain, yes. That's a tough one for you, huh, baby girl?
Mm, okay. Critically think here.
Don't worry. You come prepared.
Yes. Yes. I think so I disagree. I believe that in these industries they should be governed by the home country, but that they should partake in the global supply chain, and for the very reason that the global supply chain is not the enemy. It's the constitution of what you do with what you get out of the global supply chain. I think if the country that we're recipient of or partaking in the global supply chain, let's say Cameroon, right? Cameroon is going to benefit greatly from, and when I think it's also just wanting to point out that when we say global supply chain, we also have to remember that intercontinental also counts. So a lot of times I think when people talk about the global supply chain, they just think of the West. But that's not the case because Cameroon and
And
Chad,
Nigeria.
Cameroon and Nigeria, Cameroon and Ghana, Cameroon and I don't know, Botswana, South Africa, Mozambique, all these countries are also a part of the global supply chain, right? So I think that you have to intrinsically, if you believe in continental community and if you believe in an isolationist approach to the governance and development of Africa, then you have to also support the global supply chain because half of the global supply chain is the 54 countries in Africa, right? So I would say yes. I think that for medical, you said medical care,
For food chain for
food chain,
for the
medical.
global food chain and benefit of medical. Should the
I
healthcare, food, and energy,
and
healthcare,
energy.
food, energy
Um,
always be controlled domestically, or
so you know me, I always
no
like to
matter
talk
the
about,
cost?
you
Mm-hmm.
know, I always like to talk about governance, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think in the supply chain to have the discussion without
Dr.
talking
Tabi,
about
welcome.
governance is
Hi everyone.
Ella is a hard discussion because the global supply chain again, if you were to abdicate yourself or take yourself out of the global supply chain and let it be solely an isolationist state, then what